Hi, I am Raquel Albaladejo Alcaraz, and this is my final exam about resources and ICT course. This project is going to be divided into two different parts, part 1 and part 2. Now we are going to start with part 1. First, I'm going to introduce a bit my activities. The first one is going to be a stop motion, the second one a comic, and last but not least a programming task. So now I'm going to introduce my students. They are a group of 20 students between 8 and 9 years old, so they are going to 3rd primary school. They love learning and engaging with technologies because they love creating new things. That's why I know they are going to love these activities because we are going to use lots of digital tools. Also, they love to express themselves in English, and that's why they are a bilingual group. And lastly, what I wanted to say is that there is a student that has ASD, and I know he has some difficulties for understanding difficult tasks. So that's why I try to create like visual presentations and also step-by-step explanations. According to the different subjects related with my activities and based on the Royal Decree of Primary Education of Region of Murcia, my activities will meet these specific competencies that come from different subjects, as this is an interdisciplinary project that integrates mainly natural sciences, English, arts, digital skills, and social learning. I use Copilot AI for the activities proposal, and for this I designed a prompt with the usual details and then with the instructions. So this is the video of our conversation. According to the answer that Copilot gave me, I will use these same activities, but I'm going to make them more complex and enriching for my students. For the first activity, the comic, I will use Pigstone as Copilot said, but to make it more interesting, I will use healthy food as heroes and ultra-processed foods as villains. Before starting this task, I will put a tutorial about how to use Pigstone, and then I'm going to show them an example of a comic that I made by myself. I made these changes because gamified and narrative elements such as heroes and villains increase motivation and engagement in young learners, according to Brunner. Also, ASD students improve their attention and their understanding when we make clear character differentiation. For the second task, stop motion, Copilot proposed me to make a stop motion using plasticine fruits. In my case, I will do a presentation explaining what is the food pyramid and explaining how to use Stop Motion Studio. Then, I will give my students a sheet I created with the food pyramid and then some cards I created with different kinds of food. I made these changes because the food pyramid deepens the conceptual understanding of nutrition according to constructivist principles of Piaget. Also, I use Prezi because it ensures multimodal input that are essential for bilingual students and for structuring students with ASD. And lastly, visual organization through the pyramid support those visual spatial learners and improves content retention according to Garner. For the last activity, the Scratch game, Copilot suggested me to create a questionnaire only using one question. Instead, I created a multiple choice questionnaire using physical cards. Also, I created a Scratch template for my students. So I made these changes because this will benefit my students. According to Sweller, when we provide a template, we reduce cognitive load of programming and we can make students to be more focused on the content. Also, students with ASD will enjoy this activity because of the visual aids, such as for example the physical cards. Multiple choice questionnaire, such as the one I created, will enrich content coverage. After each activity, students will be uploading to a class Padlet their opinions and what they've learned in each activity. Each activity is designed for one session of 45 minutes and they mainly belong to the subject natural sciences. So now we are going to begin with the first activity. For this activity, the stop motion, students will be divided into 4 different groups. First, they will watch this presentation. Then, they will choose 5 cards and use them for making the plasticine figures. Once the students make these figures, they will start making the stop motion. For this, students have to download a stop motion studio and use the food pyramid sheet. They will be moving the fruits and putting them in the correct areas of the pyramid. So this is the result. So now let's begin with the second activity. For the second activity, the comic, we will be using Pixton, and I will play my students this video. First, you must log in or create an account. Then, you will have to choose one wallpaper, or you can choose various. Then, you have lots of characters and objects, also the messages, faces, and animals. So, what are you waiting for? Then, I will divide the class into 4 groups of 5 students and I will give 2 conditions. The villains should be ultra-processed foods and the heroes will be the healthy food. Also, students must create a good final because it is essential to understand food balance and not removing completely those ultra-processed foods. When groups finish their comic, then we'll be sharing some ideas in class. Now, let's begin with the last task. In this lesson, students will learn how to start programming with Scratch. For this, I will show them a digital book showing the basic guide for Scratch programming. Then, students will be divided into 6 groups of 3 or 4 students and game cards will be distributed to each group. One of the members will be chosen randomly and will have a special role, the quiz master. This member must read a card and their classmates must answer. Children will work with a laptop and they will have access to a Scratch template that the teacher will upload in the virtual classroom site. If they answer wrongly, the character won't move, and if they answer correctly, the character must move forward, approaching to the goal line. Their mission is to program the character and reach that line. The group that manages to get the character to the finish line first will win. For the last step, students should reflect at home on what they've learned and on which of these activities they enjoyed the most in the classroom Padlet. Every tool I used before provides significant added value to the learning process. Stop motion encourages patience, teamwork, and creativity. Prezi increases students' attention because it's not linear visual style. Pixton enhances written and storytelling skills. Scratch develops logic and problem solving. Book Creator reinforces concepts in an original and visual way. Lastly, Padlet encourages group reflection. In addition, I used Pickrad framework because it helps teachers evaluate how technology is used in the classroom based on the student's role and the technology's impact. For the first activity, we can classify into Pickrad framework, Prezi, and the stop motion studio. Prezi amplifies the traditional presentation format, offering a more appealing way for students to receive information. In this activity, Prezi is passive because students will be spectators of the presentation. Stop Motion Studio transforms the learning process by allowing students to actively create visual content, enhancing their understanding of concepts like food classification. For the second activity, we classify Pigstone. Pigstone transforms the traditional way of presenting information by allowing students to create their own digital comics. For the last activity, we will be classifying Scratch and Book Creator. Book Creator amplifies the traditional method of explaining content by allowing the teacher to present the material in a more visual format. In this case, it's passive for students because it's a presentation. Scratch transforms learning by enabling students to apply understanding into a programmable context. It is creative because students are coding in Scratch using their creativity. Lastly, we will be classifying Padlet. Padlet amplifies traditional reflection by enabling students to interact with the content they and their peers publish, creating a digital and collaborative learning space. For the evaluation of this project, this will be the rubric for evaluating my students individually. I designed it for evaluating these three activities together and my students' reflections in the classroom Padlet. For deciding the criteria, I based them in some specific competencies I mentioned before. So, as you can see, I established the following objectives: understanding of healthy habits, digital creation and expression, use of tablet and stop-motion app, writing and language use, teamwork and collaboration, self-reflection and communication, basic programming, and attitude. Now I'm going to assess the different tools I used for this project using the rubric for e-learning tools Linda provided. First, I will be assessing Prezi, the tool I used for the explanation about healthy food and the stop motion. According to privacy, data protection and rights, Prezi let users export content in a variety of formats, but only if you pay for a superior plan, and that's why it presents minor concerns in archiving, saving and exporting data. In data privacy, and ownership has minor concerns because the projects are published directly. To make it private, you should upgrade the plan. For sign up or sign in, it presents serious concerns because it is compulsory to create an external account. Now we are assessing Stop Motion Studio. It works well according to the account creation because it is not necessary to have an account. Projects are saved as private, so according to data privacy, it works well. Presents minor concerns when exporting, because you will need to upgrade your plan for exporting in different formats. Pigstone is a paid tool. In the free version, you only can create one comic. It presents serious concerns when signed up. You need to create an account and it collects personal data. According to data privacy and to exporting, present minor concerns because content is saved in Pigstone Cloud and exporting is only available in a superior plan. Book Creator has minor concerns in sign up because only teacher has to create an account. In data privacy, works well because you can choose to publish or not content, and according to saving projects, it works well because you have lots of formats to choose. Now we are going to assess Scratch. According to sign up, it works well because you can use it without creating an account. In data privacy, works well because you can choose to save projects as private or public. According to exporting, they can save projects even without an account, so it works well too. Last tool is Padlet. As you can see, it works well on every criteria, doesn't require creation of an account for students, teachers can maintain private their Padlets, and lastly, you can export it in multiple formats. Now, as closing for this first part, I will reflect on the learning design of my activities using the ACAD toolkit that Linda provided. For this, I divided them by colors. Let's start with orange cards, about social interaction design. Yellow cards refer to epistemic design. Blue cards refers to pedagogical theories. And lastly, green cards to material design. We arrived to the end of this part, and we are going to begin with part 2. For this part, I will be answering questions 3, 4, and 5 about knowledge I have acquired during this course. So, let's start with question 3. 5 critical elements of this course that I include permanently on my PLE are Padlet, Copilot, AI, Stop Motion Studio, e-learning tool evaluation, and Codiroki. As we all know, thanks to this course, a PLE or personal learning environment can be defined as a combination of tools, sources of information, connections, and activities a person regularly uses to learn, according to Adela Castañeda. In this framework, as you can see, I classified my elements through the 3 different areas. These areas are reflect or do, read, and share. First, Padlet will be a tool I will use in long term because I love when students can read and learn from other experiences or knowledge. I think it's a tool that makes possible sharing between students in a funnier way. Then Copilot AI, because I have always used ChatGPT since Linda told us that we had to investigate more AI tools and I discovered it. I think it has so many advantages, as for example having no limits to upload media. Stop Motion Studio has been a great app because I never did stop motion before, and this app has no limitations and is not necessary to log in. So it is a very easy and useful tool to use. E-learning tool evaluation is very important for me because I think that this tool makes us aware of the different issues tools can have if we don't give the necessary importance for this. It is essential to use it for choosing the safest tools for your teaching, and with this tool you can check it. Lastly, I will say Codiroki because I have never seen these cute robots. I only use Lego ones, and I think that for beginners these ones are easier to understand and to program. So now let's continue with question 4. Digital Competence for Education Framework shows essential digital skills teachers need. For me, the 3 more relevant areas are 2, 3, and 4. I choose Area 2, Digital Resources, because I think we can make classes more engaging and inclusive by adapting digital resources for children. When teachers have high digital skills, they know how to create more personalized teaching environment by proposing original activities or by creating their own teaching digital tools to meet their students' needs, pedagogical needs, and learning goals. In this course, we worked in this area through digital tools I didn't know before, such as Padlet, a tool that we use to share our PLE with our classmates and teachers. Then I chose Area 3, Teaching and Learning. For me, this is the most important because teaching and learning is the essential role we must accomplish as teachers. We need to integrate different tools that improve our students' learning and understanding. Probably, they will add them to their PLE and use them in the future. During this course, I developed this area with technologies proposed to use in a classroom. These are Codiroki, Stop Motion, and Augmented Reality. With them, I felt like a teacher preparing these activities and seeing how students were getting involved in them. Lastly, I chose Area 4, Assessment, because digital tools help teachers to evaluate the students and to track learning. Some tools allow teachers to evaluate and have fun at the same time, for example, quizzes. We worked in this area in Task 7, when we assessed the tools we were using with rubric for e-learning tools, or where we went analysts and we had to evaluate our group members. Let's continue with question 5. During this course, I think I earned a good grade, between a 7 and a 9, because I have been very involved in the lessons. I feel I've learned about lots of new things I didn't know before, such as Big Broad Framework that will be very useful for me as a teacher, because I will be able to create enriching activities with appropriate tools for my students. Also, I feel that we learn by doing, so this made me get motivated instead of a theoretical lesson where I can participate or express my own ideas. I'm happy with my final exam because I believe that my activities include creativity and technologies essential for children's understanding of contents, in change of a theoretical lesson where they are passive students who can't participate in class. Moreover, I think I improved my skills to talk in public. Before this course, I was very nervous when I had to present something, and now I'm still getting a bit nervous, but I managed way better the situation. I think this is in part thanks to the roles that Linda created, because when I had to be a star, I knew that I was responsible to prepare my presentation before and to present it the better as possible. So for me, this was the hardest role. For this project, I utilized Copilot AI for designing my 3 activities, although I think it's necessary to read carefully what AI suggests. Sometimes AI can make errors. I made some changes because I felt the activities the AI gave me were not very complete, and sometimes it was not including technological tools very well. AI is a helper for us, but it's not a replacement. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video for my resources and ICT exam and you learned from it. Bye!